Okay, let's unpack this. You think about jobs where danger is, well, part of the deal. Maybe direct risk, maybe shady dealings.
Right, like a cop or maybe even a firefighter. Obvious dangers.
Exactly. But what if the biggest threat isn't, out there, but closer? Like from the people you trust, the people you let in.
And that's really the core of what makes these sources you send over, the articles, the research, your notes, so gripping. It's that intersection, professional risk meeting, personal betrayal.
Absolutely. This is the deep dive into Bruce Weinstein's story. Think about this guy. A successful LA bookie, family business, collecting bets, paying out.
He sounds like he was doing pretty well for himself.
Oh, yeah. The sources paint a picture: nice car, big house. He was apparently the life of the party, infectious laugh, seemed pretty confident.
Definitely living the life associated with that kind of success. But things changed for him, didn't they? The notes mention a divorce.
Right. In the early 90s, that prompted a big move. He left LA, but not the business.
Still a bookie.
Still a bookie. And crucially, he wanted to be close to his daughter, Jacqueline. So where does he go? Las Vegas.
Perfect spot for his line of work, especially back then.
Totally. The sources say he just jumped right into the Vegas scene, gambling, even poker tournaments.
And it's at a poker table, right. At the Mirage in '95, that he meets Amy Deshant. A really pivotal moment looking back through these materials.
Yeah, pivotal is the word. What did the sources say about the meeting? Visually, they must have stood out.
Oh, definitely. Quite the contrast.
Yeah.
Bruce was, well, a big guy, maybe 300 pounds, long silver ponytail. And Amy was petite, dark hair.
And how did they actually connect? Wasn't it something about her business?
Yeah, he supposedly hired her for her upholstery cleaning business.
Which, reading between the lines a bit in the notes, sounds like maybe just an excuse, a way to get her over to his place.
Seems plausible. And when she was there, he found out more about her background. It wasn't easy.
No, parents died young, raised by relatives, ran off at 17. 2 divorces already when she met Bruce.
And she'd only been in Vegas since '92. Started that cleaning business. Apparently quite successful, too. Landed contracts with places like MGM.
Okay, so they meet, and then things moved fast.
Incredibly fast. According to the timeline in the sources, like within a week or so, Amy sells her condo and moves into Bruce's big Spanish-style house.
A week? Wow.
And it didn't stop there. Within weeks, he's buying her really expensive gifts. Diamond necklace.
A brand new Chevy Camaro. The sources mention his mom, Sylvia, was pretty freaked out by all this.
Understandably. The notes say she nearly fainted when she heard about the gifts. The sheer speed of it all.
Was it just the speed that worried her, or did the sources suggest anything else?
It seems like the speed was the main thing, yeah. Just so sudden for Bruce. But, the sources also show the other side. Some friends thought Amy was actually good for him.
Good for him. How, according to the research?
Well, they said she helped him watch his diabetes. He even lost some weight.
Yeah.
And, despite how fast it all happened, they apparently seemed really in love, making plans.
Plans like that trip. Lake Tahoe, July 1996. Bruce, Amy, his daughter Jacqueline, a friend.
Yeah, but that trip, it never happened like they planned. This is where the story just takes a nosedive. Saturday, July 6th, Bruce doesn't show up at his office. 6 a.m.
And that wasn't just him sleeping in late. For a bookie like Bruce, 6 a.m. was crucial, right? Setting the line, the odds for the day.
Absolutely critical. The sources are clear. He never missed it. It was totally out of character.
So his mom, Sylvia, she knew this wasn't right.
Exactly. She understood his routine. The sources say she called Amy immediately. Where's Bruce?
And what did Amy say? What was her story initially?
Amy told her she'd last seen him around 11 p.m. the night before, Friday the 5th. Said he needed to run out quick for something.
Run out quick at 11 p.m.?
Yeah, and supposedly told Amy if he wasn't back by morning, he'd just meet them up in Tahoe.
How did Sylvia take that? Did she buy it?
Not really. The notes suggest Sylvia thought Amy sounded way too casual, and the story just felt off. Bruce had become more of a homebody lately, apparently. Going out late like that? Unlikely.
So Sylvia had that gut feeling. Something's wrong.
Definitely. She called Bruce's brother, Stephen, in L.A. He flew out that same day to help look. First stop, Bruce's house.
And what they found there, another huge red flag.
Yeah. Stephen and Sylvia get there. Bruce isn't home, but Amy is. And the whole place just reeks of vinegar.
Because Amy is, right then and there, shampooing the carpets while they're looking for Bruce.
Exactly. The sources really highlight how bizarre that timing was. The strong chemical smell, the frantic cleaning.
Super suspicious. And that wasn't all, right? Something else was missing. Or rather, not missing.
Right. Bruce's cell phone and his wallet. They were still in the house.
Which for a bookie, that's like leaving without your keys and your phone. The sources stress how weird that was. His whole life was cash and calls.
Totally. It just didn't fit the ran-out quick story at all, leaving those behind. It screamed something was really, really wrong.
But even with all the weird cleaning, the phone and wallet left behind, the police were slow to act.
Yeah, the sources say the family had trouble filing a missing person report initially. Police were hesitant, grown man, only got a day.
Standard procedure, maybe, but the circumstances here were anything but standard.
Exactly. The family pushed hard. And they didn't wait for the police. The next day, July 7th, they hired a private investigator, Michael Wysocki.
And Wysocki zeroes in on Amy pretty quick.
Absolutely. That carpet cleaning was a huge red flag for him, too. Plus, the sources mentioned friends were telling the family Amy seemed off.
Did Amy stick to her first story with Wysocki?
Initially, yeah. Bruce just ran out. But Wysocki kept digging, asking things like, why didn't she go to Tahoe with Jacqueline then, if that was the plan? Poking holes.
And then her story starts to crack.
Big time. The sources show this shift. July 11th, Amy tells Wysocki she's planning to leave the country.
Whoa, okay. That's alarming.
And then the very next day, July 12th, her story completely changes. Dramatically. This is when she comes out with the home invasion narrative.
Right, the whole masked men story. Tell us what she claimed happened based on the sources.
She said 4 masked men broke in on the night of July 5th, pulled her out of the shower, blindfolded her, dragged Bruce upstairs.
Said she heard him being beaten.
Yeah, beaten, and then 3 gunshots. Then she heard a body being dragged out.
And these supposed men threatened her. Threatened her and Jacqueline if she didn't clean up the mess and lie about it. Tell people Bruce just left.
That was her new story. It explained the cleaning, the disappearance, everything. But did anyone else see or hear anything?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Wysocki takes this news story to the police, and they talk to the neighbors.
And the neighbors corroborated part of it, didn't they?
Yeah. The sources say neighbors reported hearing 3 loud popping noises around 10 p.m. on July 5th.
3 pops. Around the time Amy claimed she heard gunshots, that detail coming from neighbors must have given the police pause. Suddenly, part of her wild story has some external echo.
Exactly. And it brings Bruce's past roaring back into focus, his professional life.
Because he wasn't just a bookie. He had that history in L.A. Illegal bookmaking arrests in the late 80s.
And during one arrest, the sources say he cut a deal, became an LAPD informant.
Wore a wire, helped bust over 20 other people in the bookmaking world.
So he definitely made enemies. Serious enemies. People who might hold a grudge. Retaliation was a real possibility police had to consider.
Although the sources note, apparently he was good at being an informant. It wasn't widely known it was him, which made tracing that angle tricky.
Okay, so now police have Amy's news story, the neighbor's report. They finally search the house properly. But it's like 10 days later.
Right. And initially, the sources say they didn't find the obvious stuff you might expect. No bullet casings scattered around, no obvious bullet holes in the walls of the bedroom.
But then they used luminol.
And that changed everything. The sources described this significant blood trail lighting up, leading from the master bedroom, down the stairs, right to the front door.
Wow. Undeniable proof of violence right there in the house, starting near the bedroom. That's when it officially became a homicide investigation.
No question. They also searched Bruce's car, Amy's car, but found nothing. No blood, no fibers.
Which is weird, right? If a body was dragged out, as the blood trail in Amy's story suggested, how did it get moved without leaving a trace in their cars?
Yeah, and suggests maybe another vehicle was used, or they were incredibly careful, or maybe used something like heavy blankets or plastic. The sources leave that open. But digging more in the house itself.
They found the safe.
Bruce's hidden safe, yeah. Supposedly had like a $100 key in it, but police found $20.
It's $20.
And the mattress.
Flipped over. And on the underside, bullet holes.
Shot in bed. That plus the blood trail. It paints a pretty clear picture of what happened inside the house, but police doubted Amy could have done it all alone.
Right. Given her size versus Bruce's, moving a body, it seemed unlikely she managed it solo, especially without leaving traces in the cars. They started thinking, okay, maybe there was help, just not masked mobsters.
So they looked back at the LA enemies again, the informant angle.
They did. But the sources say it was a dead end. The guys he informed on were still locked up, and there was no evidence anyone else knew Bruce was the rat. Okay, so LA is out. What about closer connections in Vegas? Ken Wright comes up.
Ken, Bruce's former roommate, also a business associate. The sources mentioned they had this side thing, gambling client money. and Bruce owed Ken $5,000.
$5,000. Is that motive for murder in that world? Seems maybe low.
Probably not the sole motive the sources imply, but it's the detail. What raised more flags was Ken's behavior after Bruce disappeared.
What did he do that seems suspicious?
Well, he was supposed to be on that Tahoe trip too. Bruce vanishes. And Ken, he doesn't stick around, doesn't help search. He just goes to Tahoe anyway.
Well, that seems cold, and the police wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, and the sources say he wasn't exactly rushing to cooperate. Plus, he was one of the last people confirmed to see Bruce alive. Dropped him home around 9 p.m. that night.
Only an hour before the neighbors heard the pops.
Exactly. But despite all that, Ken got ruled out. Rock solid alibi for the rest of the night. Witnesses confirmed it.
So Ken's clear. The LA angle is cold. Police are back to square one, looking right at Amy again.
But when they go to find her, she's gone. Skip the country.
Which just adds to the mystery. Did she run because she was guilty? Or did the imaginary masked men actually catch up to her like she claimed they might?
Total uncertainty.
Oh.
Until August 11th. Over a month after Bruce vanished, hunters in the desert outside Vegas find something.
A body?
Yeah, partially covered with stones. And the sources make a point of mentioning this really strong chemical smell around the remains. Not decomposition, like cleaning solution.
Cleaning solution? Like baby?
Yeah.
Upholstery cleaner? And wasn't there something else found nearby? Just incredibly strange.
Unbelievably, yes. About 400 yards away, a second body. Initially thought female, turned out to be an unrelated male victim, just a tragic coincidence, found near the same remote spot.
Wow. But the first body, the one with the chemical smell.
Dental records confirmed it. Bruce Weinstein. Bullet wound to the chest.
His poor family. They must have been devastated, but also probably felt vindicated in their suspicions about Amy.
Absolutely. The sources say they pushed hard for the police to find Amy. A fugitive warrant was issued.
And they find her, right. About a month later. In a pretty unexpected way.
Pulled over for speeding. In Maryland, of all places.
And her car? What did the sources say they found inside? It was pretty damning.
Oh, yeah. Like $100,000 cash. Another woman's birth certificate and passport. Wigs. And newspaper clippings about Bruce's murder case.
I mean, that just screams guilty and trying to disappear, doesn't it? The cash, the fake ID stuff, the wigs.
It certainly looked that way. She was arrested on the felony warrant. But then, another twist.
Don't tell me she got away again.
Someone posted her bail in Maryland, and before Vegas police could extradite her, she vanished. Again.
Unbelievable, just slipped away. Meanwhile, the cops still figured she had help moving Bruce's body.
They did. And in January 97, they got a huge break. Found a gun near where the body was discovered in the desert. A .38 caliber.
Matching the bullet wound.
Exactly. And they traced that gun. It led them to a guy named Robert Wayne Jones. Bobby Jones, 58 years old.
And who was Bobby Jones? How was he connected?
The sources revealed he worked for Amy at her upholstery cleaning business.
Ah, the cleaning business connection again. And the chemical smell.
Police searched Bobby's property, and the sources note they found that same distinct chemical odor there. The smell from the desert.
Wow. Okay, so Bobby's directly linked through the gun and the smell. He became a fugitive too, right?
Yep. Both Amy and Bobby were on the run. The case even got featured on America's Most Wanted.
Did the show help?
It did for Bobby. In June 1997, the sources say he was caught in New Mexico, hiding out at his son's place. But he wouldn't talk to the police.
Okay, so Bobby's caught. What about Amy?
6 months later, America's Most Wanted reran the segment, focusing just on her. And incredibly, it worked again. A tip came in.
Where did they find her this time?
Bartending. At a nudist colony in Florida.
You can't make this stuff up. A nudist colony.
Apparently. She dodged them there for a few days, but was finally caught at a friend's house nearby in January 1998.
So finally they have them both. Back in Vegas, did Amy change her story?
Nope. The sources say she stuck to the mobster story, even with all the evidence against her. The cash, the wigs, Bobby, the gun.
Okay, so they go to trial, Amy and Bobby, together. October 1998. What was the prosecution's theory? How did they piece it all together?
Their narrative, based on the sources, was essentially an extortion plot that went sideways. They suggested Amy had maybe hinted to friends about wanting Bruce dead but keeping his money.
So she recruits Bobby, her employee.
Yeah, Bobby apparently needed cash. They stage a robbery, but something goes wrong. Bruce recognizes Bobby's voice, maybe. Bobby panics, shoots him.
And then the cleanup.
Exactly. They drag the body out, use the cleaning supplies from Amy's business, hence the smell. Amy cleans the house, makes up the story, while Bobby gets rid of the body in the desert. And they take the cash from the safe.
That theory fits the evidence pretty well. The flipped mattress, the blood trail, the missing money, the chemical smell, the gun. What did the jury think?
The jury bought it. Amy was found guilty of first-degree murder, 2 life sentences. Bobby was found guilty too, got 5 years for his part.
Case closed, right? Finally, justice for Bruce.
You'd think so, but no. 2 years later, another massive twist, according to the sources. Both convictions overturned.
Overturned. Why? After all that.
It came down to trial testimony. A former homicide detective, while testifying, had called Amy's whole mobster story a complete fairy tale.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like one, but why is saying that on the stand a problem?
The Supreme Court justices said it was improper opinion testimony. Detectives should present facts, evidence. Calling her story a fairy tale was seen as the detective basically telling the jury she's lying, which is the jury's job to decide, not the witnesses. They felt it could have unfairly swayed the jury.
So that technicality undid the whole trial.
Pretty much. They were granted a new trial. But rather than risk facing another first-degree murder charge and possibly 2 life sentences again, Amy took a deal.
What was the deal?
The sources say she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, got a sentence of 10 to 25 years. She was actually released back in 2011.
Released already. And Bobby.
He wasn't retried. The judge apparently felt the time he already served was enough, considering his initial 5-year sentence, so he was released too.
Wow. So after everything, they're both out. Bruce's family has to live with that. It's mentioned his daughter, Jacqueline, went a completely different direction, right?
Yeah, became a doctor, stayed far away from the risks of that family business world.
It's just such a layered case when you pull back and look at the sources. You've got the inherent dangers of Bruce's profession, the added risk of becoming an informant.
Right, and then how volatile personal relationships can become in that kind of high-stakes environment, inviting someone like Amy into his life so quickly.
And then the legal system itself. A conviction seemingly solid overturned on a technicality, leading to plea deals and releases that, well, might feel unsatisfying to many.
It absolutely highlights those complexities. Trust, betrayal, money, past actions coming back to haunt you.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the choices we make, both in our work and who we let into our lives, especially when the stakes are high. What's the one thing from Bruce Weinstein's story that really sticks with you, makes you pause?